You see, we are black-skinned. For the longest time, I used to pray a secret prayer that, oh God, why can't you make me white? One type of mindset is the scarcity mindset, and the other type of mindset is the abundance mindset. You see what I'm talking about now?
Yeah.
The scarcity mindset, first of all, believes in external help. So it is the idea that somebody one day will help me.
Now I must wait for
You
that
should
person.
now wait.
My
So
time will
yes,
come.
your time will come. Aha! It was 2010.
Yeah.
And I came and told him, hey, he was called the James. I was like, James, it's the 31st. What are some of your resolutions? He said, you're very foolish. But he told me, real champions don't think in years. Real champions think in decades. Because truly, to have anything that makes sense, if you're thinking in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you don't do anything of importance.
This is Mindset Profits with the one and only Stan Agacho, and this brother is shaking the continent with his powerful teachings on wealth, investment, the root causes of poverty. I got caught back with just how he introduced even this interview with a talk and lessons he picked up speaking to Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, and it was so powerful. I forgot to do my intro. That's why I'm doing this. Enjoy. You will feel his power.
I remember there's a time I was sitting down with His Excellency Yoweri Museveni. I don't know
Yeah.
what opinions you have of him, but the protocol team did ask us to prepare.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, but His Excellency Museveni is our father. This guy is the father of Africa.
Just speak as an ava.
If you remove yourself from the propaganda of the West, you know, the
Yeah.
propaganda of the West has convinced us that all our leaders are dictators and they're
Yeah.
wicked and they should die. You know, we should remove them from power. If you remove yourself from that mindset, I said, I'm coming to speak to my father. This is an African father. I should not, why should I prepare? Right? And we had a proper challenge with the protocol. But do you know, I had a 30-minute meeting with His Excellency Yoweri Museveni. That meeting became a 5-hour meeting.
Whoa!
Because we were just speaking naturally. We were speaking from our hearts. You see, it's very interesting. So I have never...
Do you remember one question that you were asking?
Yes, the first one I asked him, why is it that you have decided you will not let go of power? And he challenged me and he said that question is stemming from an education that is westernized. And I agreed, because he argued, your father now, for example, does your father have to apply to be your father every season? He doesn't have to be applied to your father. You see, for Africans, we understand fatherhood and kinship from a different perspective. After all, democracy is a Western experiment. It's a philosophical construct that is not even old, by the way. So if you were to study democracy today, you'd quickly find that democracy was designed as a psychological experiment. That could it be that power should belong to the people? But if you begin to examine or question the principles of democracy, you will find, well, democracy says we are all free to say what we want, we are all free to do what we want. The actions and voices that matter are still with a few anyway.
True.
So it's a perception.
The billionaires and the
Ultimately, yes. I was speaking recently and I got into some trouble in my nation. And my argument was, my most recent YouTube video, the question was, who really controls Kenya? We have done about 2 million views on that video cross-platform. And I've gotten into serious trouble because I actually found that even the president of this country does not control the country. Because the true controllers of the country are the debt holders. So there's a very serious...
the guys that control the debt system.
The country's debt, yeah. So the country's debt and traditional debt. So what happens is, do you know, my brother, our country can come out of debt next year, but the powers that be cannot allow us to come out of that power because those are somebody's assets.
But if that's what you were saying,
yeah,
why would you get in trouble?
Because of the revelation. I'm now exposing. My argument was, your vote does not matter.
Okay, now
that was my argument, yeah. I was saying that ultimately, if you look at because I'm an economist by training, my argument was, it doesn't matter who you vote for, because 67% of our revenue has already been spoken to by people who you cannot remove by your vote.
Jeez, man.
You see, so we are in a place where the only instrument of redemption is revolution. Are you seeing? So this got me into proper challenges, and I
Was
said
the challenge from the people or the powers that be?
I got some calls. Yeah,
Okay.
I got some calls, and I sat down with very high people. But the problem is one, my brother, I'm on a mission. I don't know if you understand. I'm on a
I
mission.
get you.
Yeah.
Speak.
This is my purpose in life. So, in Africa, I am public wealth infrastructure for individuals and for governments. I can't begin to tell you the ministers I'm advising all over Africa, the presidents I'm advising all over Africa, because the consciousness of Africa, for it to be revealed, it needs a mouth. You see what I'm talking about? I am now that mouth to begin to reveal what it is that we have in Africa that will give us the advantage for progress. And you will quickly find that sometimes it might not be procedural. So I was studying a paper. There's this German psychologist. She's called Dr. Dweck. Yeah. So this Dr. Dweck lady, very powerful, very strong lady. She said that there are two mindsets. You have the scarcity mindset and you have the abundance mindset. That's what she. So her subject of inquisition was: does it matter the type of mindset you carry as far as wealth creation is concerned? Yeah. And this is one actually of the holy grails of wealth psychology. Okay. So in hindsight, when she was doing it, she was not doing it for wealth. She was just doing it for ordinary living. Now, her question examined about 1,800 people over 12 years. And the question was, does it matter the type of mindset you carry? So say there's one type of mindset is the scarcity mindset, and the other type of mindset is the abundance mindset. You see what I'm talking about now?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if you're talking about scarcity mindset and abundance mindset, you must define what does scarcity mindset mean, what does abundance mindset mean, so that I don't take a lot of your time. I'll give you the top three. I'll give you the top three characteristics. So the scarcity mindset, first of all, believes in external help. So it is the idea that somebody one day will help me.
Which is the government in case of
the government, or a strategic uncle, or a big superpower. Jeez, or somebody will see that I am so gifted that they will come now and tell me that here is a beautiful contract with Universal Studios, just show up and sing. So the scarcity mindset has the view that breakthrough is catalyzed by an external force. By someone else. Number two.
And now I must wait for
you
that
should
person.
now wait.
My time will come.
Yes, your time will come. Aha! Are you seeing that now, my brother? Yeah, my time will come. I remember I had a conversation in the 1 million nation. We are now in 24 countries, 560,000 members. Can you imagine? So we were having a conversation, and the conversation was, why are you allowing people to tell you to wait for your turn? And many times the people who are telling you to wait for your turn, themselves, they have arrived. You see what I'm talking about? So they're telling you to wait for your turn because you waiting is the disadvantage that is prompting them up. You see what I'm talking about? So you need to have the rugged idea of disregarding this waiting rubbish and pursuing the things that God has called you to do, or your purpose, as it were. So that was the first.
Let's go to number two. Yeah.
Let's go to number two. Number two, the scarcity mindset believes that progress is by process. So I need to be in kindergarten, and then I need to be in primary school, and then I need to be in high school, and then I need to be in university. That for progress to happen, there are steps. That you cannot wake up in Soweto and sleep in Cape Town. That's now. You see what I'm talking about? Now that is
the process is being disrupted there.
Number three, the scarcity mindset believes that what you are born with is your destiny. You see what I'm talking about? So you are born with the particular advantages and disadvantages, and those ones determine you. It has nothing to do with you. You see, we are black-skinned. For the longest time, I used to pray a secret prayer that, oh God, why can't you make me white? Because it seems to me that these white people have a lot of advantages of scarcity thinking.
Yeah.
Here's abundance thinking. Abundant thinking. The first thing about abundance thinking is number one. Abundance thinking does not believe in procedural growth. Abundance thinking, the first principle of abundance thinking is quantum leaps. That you just need one day. That you can in one day move from $1 to $1 million. You see, that begins to give you a possibility mindset. You stop thinking about, I need to go through
The process.
Yeah, I need to be a clerk, then I need to be a manager, then middle manager, then maybe director, then department head, then CEO. You see, so it removes you from the idea that growth is procedural.
I love it. I love it so much because so many people that follow the podcast say they are late in life, they have nothing to their name. And that message is, in 1 year, you can do more than you did in 10.
There you go. You are not talking. That's now abundant mindset. Abundant mindset does not recognize the value of timing advancement. That you can advance anytime. You see what I'm talking about? Here's the second thing about abundance mindset. The second thing about abundance mindset is that the help you're waiting for, that help is within you. That there is nobody that is coming to help you. That's an abundance thinker. The abundance thinker does not believe that somebody helped me has sabotaged many destinies, my brother. Somebody helped me. I hope you know, even for you, my bro, right? Yeah. And I love how we are connecting. Do you know that even for you, the only person who might be thinking about you is your mom? One secular poet in this country said that your dad could be thinking about you, but he's thinking, is this my son? Nobody is thinking about you. And the day you come to terms with the idea that nobody is thinking about me, I hope you know your acceleration will increase, because that is the day you will abandon this idea that somebody is coming to save me. Here's number 3. Abundance mindset believes that wherever you are today can change. So where your disadvantages and advantages can change. Meaning, if today you are not uneducated, it can change. If today you are not connected, it can change. So
if you don't have a skill that you need,
it can change. Yeah. So many people are saying AI has come, we're about to lose. That's scarcity thinking. So people with abundant mindsets will say AI has come. Which skills do I now need to be relevant? Absolutely. So the man with the abundant mindset is constantly investigating, how do I adapt to my environment to take full advantage of the ecosystem? It's a different positioning. So I digress. So I come back to His Excellency.
Yeah.
And His Excellency argues that the reason why you're asking me where I've been in power for so long is because the mindset you're currently carrying is European. Because Europeans they have cheated you that we need to be in a democratic process where we are changing our leaders every 10 years. You're 44 now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you a question, my brother. Can you say you have done anything of importance in the last 5 years? To do anything that is significant, you need 15 to 20 years anyway. And I'm assuming that you're a very focused, planned, documented individual. It takes decades. My mentor, I had this mentor who is a multi-millionaire in euros. He's been married for 30 years. He's now 62 years old. He's an Austrian man. And one of the things that he slapped me very early in life is it was 2010. And I came and told him, hey, he was called the James. I'm like, James, it's the 31st. What are some of your resolutions? He said, you're very foolish. Because he told me real champions don't think in years. Real champions think in decades. Because truly, to have anything that makes sense, if you're thinking in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you don't build anything of importance. You are in content game like me. Content for both you and I. I've looked at your stuff. Content for both you and I is methodology. It's not an end in mind. It's something that we use to achieve our vision. It's a means to an end. But you know very well, my brother, content, how long does it take to concretize content anyway? Whether you are good, you are bad, you are average, it doesn't matter. It's a time game. Quantity and time. How long are you willing to do this thing, even if it's not answering? If you're measuring it in months, you will be disappointed very fast. Are you seeing what I'm talking about now? So he told me, His Excellency Museveni, he told me the reason why you're thinking like that is because you are thinking from a place of a European colonized mind. And you have swallowed Western propaganda so much so that you are now regurgitating what you have been educated in. You see what I'm talking about? That is
the same educational system that was created not by you.
That is the point. You see that what I'm talking about now. So I was saying that to say that I've now had the privilege to be as it were, the ear, the voice in the ears of very many African leaders. And I got into problem when I started speaking about issues in my own nation, because now it's troubling the powers that be. But my response was very simple, and I know they're watching and they have been answering the same thing. You see, I've become a continental leader, my brother. So because of that now, because of my mission as the infrastructure for public wealth, I am speaking beyond politics. I'm speaking beyond parties. I'm speaking beyond boogeymen. I am not necessarily saying this is the party you should vote for, this is the party you must not vote for. No, I'm speaking for the generation. Where is Africa going? Do you know, my brother, right now that Africa, listen to this, Africa, literally, scientifically proven, has 30% of the global wealth. 30%. Do you know how much we control as far as wealth is concerned? 3%.
I was probably going to guess close because I had 5% in mind.
So we have 30% of the global resources, but we only control 3%. Why? Because of the conversion power. We are unable to convert our resources into wealth. What is the gap between conversion and wealth? Knowledge. You see that? So that is why it is very difficult for myself to be, should I say, silenced in that regard. I don't know if I'm making sense.
I want to pick up on what you say, the difference between the resources that we have and transforming to add value to them, to get the wealth out of them. If you're saying it's knowledge, don't you think time has passed? Knowledge is no longer the thing.
I agree with you.
Because now we do know.
I agree with you. But do we really? So if you look at Africa Development Bank study of 2022-2023, the argument is currently, at least among urban Africans, English speaking, 84% are financially included. It means people are earning income. You get what I'm talking about? Yeah. Do you know how many Africans are financially healthy? It is 15%. So we don't have an income problem. We have a conversion problem. So, because my brother, I hope you know income is not wealth. Yeah, income is not wealth. Many of my mentees.
You have said before, at some point you discovered that this wealth building journey, the starting point is income, expenses, and a whole lot of other things are noise.
So, so the other stuff is completely, so I'll share with you for a minute. So, now, many of my mentees will ask me, where should we invest? I want to invest. I want to become rich. I want to become wealthy. You see what I'm making about?
Which is many people.
Which is many people. And I was those many people, my brother. You see, I've gone broke twice. Okay, fine. I've said this many times on camera, and sometimes I say it carefully because, you know, of our revenue authority. But at least I can say this one here because this is the money I already paid tax for. The day of my wedding, which is like 4 years ago, the day of my wedding, I think the day of my wedding I had like $400,000 in my bank account.
Yo,
USD. But you see, nobody ever told me having money is not wealth. So in 2023, 2024, 2023 actually, my wife came and asked me, what happened to all our money? You see what I'm talking about?
Oh, you just got...
Yeah. And you see, my brother, that was my second time going broke now. You see now. So my mentors taught me, eat risk, drink risk for breakfast. Get money, invest money, build enterprise, get capital, deploy capital, get value, get money, right? And you are in this cycle of creating cash flows and liquidity, and you're always having, there's always money around you, and you now think that that is wealth. You'll be so shocked, number one. Number two, that thinking, first of all, literally puts more than 90% of Africa in the bush, because less than 10% of us are in business anyway. Number two, so there are people who are earning income, not from business, but they're earning income from employment, right? So you're always earning income. You want to tell me you don't know these friends who are always telling us about, look at me, I'm in Amsterdam, I'm in France.
There are many.
Yeah, there are many. When you tell them, man, we went to Sao Paulo, we enjoyed ourselves in the Brazilian, eat all you can eat beef. Before you finish, they interrupt you because there is no story that you can tell them that they don't have a better one. And they'll even show you their photos with presidents. They'll tell you about cars. There's this uncle of mine who used to tell me that he would import alcohol, and even the stuff he would import, it would come first from Dubai, and number two, it would never be driven in an Uber. He would send his GLE to go and collect Hennessy VSOP and Mattel VSOP. You see what I'm talking about? Champagne.
Flex, eh?
What are you talking about? But after that meeting, he now asks you for $5 for Uber to go home. So all their money victories are where? In the past. I hope you know, my brother, wealth is not an income game. As a matter of fact, when I got into the study, I found that income explains only 7 to 9% of your net worth. You see what I'm talking about now? So my wife asks me, what happened to all our money, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, even me, I don't know. So as husbands, you know, there's a way, if I'm talking to a colleague or I'm talking to a friend, there are questions they can ask that we'll just have a chat and move on. But when your wife asks you, you can catch an attitude. You can get very angry. But because that week I was coming from counseling, I said, okay, fine, let me be a good husband and actually listen to what she's saying. Because what was happening is, you know, the way, and I'll tell you some stories, you know, the way for many of us, wealth means going for holiday every February.
Yeah.
So we had this thing of every February we are going to Dubai. Now, this year we have not gone, we just went to Zanzibar. You see what I'm talking about? So you had this thing of, you don't eat local cheese. You only eat imported cheese. Now, when you open the fridge, it's full of local cheese. Number 3, you had this thing of, you know, you only eat cola bacon. Baby. Now, bacon is bacon. So, there are times you'd enter the pantry, you enter the pantry and the ambience of the pantry is like ShopRite. Now you enter the ambience of the pantry is like some kibanda place, is like some local shop somewhere. So you can see some telltale signs of a financial degradation. Yeah, there's a reduction.
You could see that
things
are not the same
anymore. Yeah, things are not the same anymore. You know, you go to hospital, you get a diagnosis. Before you get a diagnosis, we treat the same day. Now, you now ask the doctor, why don't you give us some medicine? Give me 6 months, I put the money today. You see what I'm talking about now? But you see, at that time, which cars am I driving, my brother? I'm driving a GLE 2018.
Yo.
I'm driving a Prado 2016 black. Why have one if you can have two? I'm driving a 2016 Prado white.
You had 2.
I had 2 Prados, bro. I even came with it today. But you see, nobody ever told me that is not wealth. Nobody ever told me that's not wealth. So now, my wife is asking me, what happened to all our money? So as opposed to catching an attitude, I decided to give that question the time of day that it deserves. And I said, wait a minute, you're actually right. What really happened to all our money? So I'm like, I told her I don't know. I'm like, that's a very good question, because even me, but that was one of my most humble moments. 2 weeks later, I'm driving from a mall, one of the high-end malls here. I'm sitting on my GLE 2018 white, even with Tuscany leather seats. And that thing happened. You know that thing where you see lights on the dashboard? You know that yellow light?
Oh, the yellow light.
You know, my brother, at that time, I did not even know the price of fuel. Because you're always going full tank. But this might sound very arrogant, but the reason why I'm speaking with it with so much confidence is because my brother Mia was a person for manual labor in 2009. My story is known. I was in construction sites. If I shake your hand,
I heard.
you can feel it.
A graduate, you went and worked for a construction
site. So I've built the wealth from the ground up. And I like saying this with so much confidence. Nobody has ever given me a tender in any government. Anybody who has done it, they should come now and say, you're a big podcast. Let them come and say, anybody who has given me, wash.
Yeah.
This one for gold. Anybody who has given me conmanship, let them come and say here right now. My records on the Revenue Authority are clear. We've built this thing from the ground up. Yeah. So it is possible to build wealth in Africa. For me, my biggest advantage was mentorship. I had men who were showing me what you should do. This is how you should do. This is the mindset you should carry. This is how you do presentations. I had men who helped me do that, right? Okay, fantastic.
Force, man.
Yeah. It's a big advantage. It's a really big advantage. So now, I say it confidently. So people may say, that's so arrogant. You're talking about GA, you're talking about what?
Yeah.
I'll talk about it like that because when I was in the construction site, where were you? So we built this thing from the ground up. You see what I'm talking about now? Okay, great. So
How do you answer the wife?
I'm driving my GLE, and 2 weeks later after the wife asks me what happened to all our money. And now, as I'm driving, I'm coming from Windsor Golf Resort. Now I have a yellow light. My brother, you know that yellow light, especially if you're in some transactions and you are in cash flow, it feels like you've been given a medical report. Somebody tells you now you have Ebola. Yeah. So at that point, I didn't really care so much because I have what? Credit cards. So I could swipe. And I swiped for 18 months. You see what I'm talking about now? So now you are out of money. You have
Deep in debt now.
You are deep in debt, but you are looking the part. You see, you're looking the part. You have the cars, you have the address, you have the drive, the everything, but you are broke for broke. Do you know, according to Africa Development Bank, only 10% of Africans can pay for their life more than 1 month if they got an emergency today. That is from the people earning 100,000 rand, 10,000 rand, 1,000 rand, all the way to 1,000,000 rand. Our disease is the same. All of us, we don't know what we're doing. So, wife asks me, what happened to all our money now? That day, when I'm parking by the side of the road, that's the time I was like, wait a minute, because at that time, that's 2023, at that time, the time I had the lowest money in my bank account was $100,000. I did not know how to live a life without having $100,000, but nobody ever told me that having $100,000, having $1 million, that's not wealth. You see what I'm talking about? So I decided now I'm going to answer your question.
Yeah.
I decided now to do an investigation of what are the causes of my poverty.
That's a powerful
You see what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like what made me, how was I rich and now I'm broke? Like, what is that? You see what I'm talking about? But only a fool learns from his own mistake. I remember when I was in my second master's degree, my professor told me that he that does not research must not speak, because what is he speaking? He's speaking his ignorance. So I decided now, you see the way the government investigate the source of your wealth?
Yeah.
Me, I decided now to go and investigate the source of poverty in Africa. And I got about 7 reasons. I'll give you the top 3 here.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
The top 3, quickly. So, in answering the wife now. So that then...
you could see a correlation between the 7 and what you were doing.
Precisely. It was exactly... You cannot believe. So the first one, and this one was so interesting, I found it in Africa Development Bank. So Africa Development Bank has a study, and they were studying about, I think, 48,000 African households. And the question was the same. What are the drivers of net worth acceleration? So the objective of the study was to establish what makes families build wealth in Africa. But they found something very interesting, that even among graduates in sub-Saharan Africa, urban formerly employed sub-Saharan Africans, yeah, the number 1 leading cause of poverty is financial illiteracy. We just don't know, because we have income, but we don't have conversion. So you are earning, and I call it the curse of liquidity.
Yeah.
You know, for many people,
That's a term that you coined.
That's my term.
That's power.
Because you are so used to money coming in your mind you think it will always be like that, and consequently you have bad money behavior, because you are explaining your bad money behavior with your high income generation capability. I'll make it anyway. You see what I'm talking about? It's coming back. Yeah, I can buy Ray-Bans, I can buy a car, I can buy a random girl a car, which I did, by the way. Yeah, I can buy them. Because who cares? Next month I'll make $20,000. I'm in the middle of a deal. I'm in the middle of a transaction. I'll make the money anyway, until you have one tight season. Then you realize all of a sudden that those things that you read on the news about people going broke is not for animals. It can happen to you too. There's a story that is very painful here in this country. Here. I want anybody who's listening to go and look at the deputy governor of a county called, I think it was Bungoma, one of those western counties.
Yeah.
A man who was at his height, less than 4 years ago, was moving with 24 Toyota Land Cruisers V8s. Ooh. These are cars that are worth at least $140,000
each.
He would move with 24 of them. A guy, do you know where the guy is? Right, I want to challenge you today in your hotel. Please, don't go to town. Go and check him. You will find he is selling firewood on the roadside.
My goodness.
It's not even a story that it's not even a Tia story, my story. No, it's a public story in this country, and there are many other stories like that. The issue is financial illiteracy. We do not know that wealth is about buying assets. See, nobody ever told us that. Do you know, my brother? I want to challenge you.
Yeah.
And everybody who's watching, I want you to go to every university, including the top ones. I want you to show me a unit called personal finance. It does not exist. We have biology, we have finance, we have agriculture, we have medicine, we have corporate finance. I was going broke at the back of 2 master's degrees. 2 masters. So I have a degree in economics, I have a degree in MBA strategy marketing, I have a degree in MSc finance, investment banking. And I still went broke. You know, and if you ask your bankers, I want you to go and ask your bankers now. Huh?
But I get you, and I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And my question in my mind, because of what you're doing and speaking to leaders around, do you think it's systematic and intentional?
100%.
Every African leader will know this, and they have the power to change it. It
100%.
doesn't take a lot to add.
My brother, the problem is one, you see, when you become financially independent, you're not good for the economy because you're no longer a laborer. Have you ever read this book called The Animal Farm?
Yeah.
You understand the idea of the animal farm.
I do.
So the animal farm is that we are all a farm, somebody is milking us, and you are not of your own. It doesn't matter at what level, even if you're at executive level. And my response to that animal farm is there's nothing wrong with being in the animal farm as long as you're also a farmer. So when you're being milked, you must ensure that you're also milking somebody else. So the idea of financial literacy is the following, that when you receive income, it is not income, it is capital. You see, my brother, that one alone.
Income is capital.
Income is capital. Many people, I'll come and speak to my mentees and they'll ask me, I earn a lot of money, but I don't know what happens to my money. I earn $2,000, I earn $3,000, I earn $500. So somebody says, I don't know what happens to my money. I say, no problem. I'll show you what happens to your money. So many people, especially guys who are 40, I say, no problem. So you're 40 years now,
Yeah.
Great. Let's even assume you're 40, great. So you have been in the household for about 20 years. Now, let's assume, how much money do you think you have touched in the last 40 years? For many of us, it's above $300,000, even for you. Do you agree with me?
Probably more.
Probably more. A portfolio of, let's assume that you converted half into a portfolio. So let's say you have a portfolio of about $200,000. A portfolio of $200,000 means you're living a life of $4,000 per month passive income without lifting a finger. You're a rich man anywhere in the world.
I feel the judgment even from here. But
you see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm, so for many of us, you see what I said about abundance mindset?
Yeah.
Abundant mindset does not wait for somebody to come and help you. It means the victory that you're waiting for is a victory you can concretize yourself, because ultimately your first objective in life after you discover your purpose, it is financial independence. What is financial independence? Financial independence is being able to live without having to work to pay for your life. As long as you are working to pay for your life, you're in jail.
Explain this before you go to the other two. You say that your salary is capital, which is powerful,
Yes.
but you also say your salary is your sweat and blood.
Yes. I'm coming to that. So I have a question for you, my brother. So today, let's say you're a rich man. So you look like somebody who earns $5,000 a month. Great. So let's assume you do $5,000 a month. Great.
Yeah.
So if you're doing $5,000 a month, in 1 year, you're talking about, what is that, 5,000 times? $60,000.
60.
So if I gave you $60,000 today, what have I done? I've given you 1 year of your life. Do you agree? So if you are exchanging your life for income, it means the income you see is a reflection of your life. Do you agree with me?
I do.
Let me even take a step further. Let me take one step further. You wake up every day in the morning, you are expending your life to get income. You see now, right? You're expending your life to do what? To get income. Great. So at the end of 30 days, you have been going to work for 24 days. You have been paid $5,000. What is that $5,000 really? It's a reflection of your sweat, blood, and tears. You agree with me? Now, the book of Leviticus says the reason why Israelites were not allowed to drink the blood of the animal is because the blood of the animal contained the life of the animal. Okay, great. So it means if this is your life, it means it's your blood now. So when you see $5,000 in your bank account, that's not income. That's blood, my brother. So when you now take $5,000, you're not yet financially independent and you want to spend $2,000 on a holiday, my brother, you've become a vampire. You're drinking your own blood. And then you will now ask me, I don't know what happens to my money. I know what it happens. You are a vampire. So affordability.
You're drinking your own blood.
You're drinking your own blood. So affordability in our community. How do I know I can afford this house? You know you can afford this house if you can pay for it from your passive income. So income is capital.
That
so
has
you
lended.
get income. Yes. So you get income, capital. So you convert it into assets. So in our community, the 1 million nation, if you're below 30 years, you're living on 30%. If you're below 50 years, you're living on 50%. Come to my community, they'll tell you, me and my wife, we have declared our statements are open. We're living on 40% and we are driving towards 30%. What do you do with the balance? You are aggressively buying the future. How are you buying the future? You're taking that income, converting it into capital and deploying it in asset classes that don't depend on you. I'm investing. I'm a very big investor in your stock exchange, yeah, because of your
Even
mining,
in South African stock exchange,
especially in South Africa, because of your mining companies and your banks. I hope you know your banks are the biggest banks in Africa, from Ned Bank, Absa, all of those. It's like they are huge banks, my brother. So now we are aggressively converting our blood, sweat, and tears into assets. So when Nedbank announces profits, I'm clapping my hands. I'm like, fantastic.
I've got a piece of that.
What I think about, when we see 200% growth, I'm like, you will not believe what has happened today. When I see I'm an investor in S&P 500, when I see OpenAI coming to say that we are now about to IPO, we are now about to declare whatever it is, our capital gain, we have moved for $40, $300. I'm like, you can't, I'm like, baby, it's time to go for holiday because
the assets can finance the holiday.
Yes, so your primary income is never money for you. That is the intelligence of financial literacy. The argument of financial literacy is that anybody can generate wealth from where they are today. So if you earn $100 monthly, it means your job is to build a portfolio that can pay you $100 per month as soon as possible, so that you come out of that income. You see, you come out of that job. If you're earning $300, of course it grows. If you're earning $400, if you're earning $1,000, your primary job is to first use your $1,000 income monthly to build a portfolio that can pay you $1,000 so that you can become free. As long as you have to work to pay for your life, you're in jail. Now, the most painful thing about this thing is this, my brother. Listen carefully. I found a study by Oxford Business Review that argued that individuals that are not yet financially independent, defined by not having to work to pay for your life, are unable to see three things. You can't see your opportunities, you can't see your gifts, and you can't see your uniqueness. Yet these three pillars have been proven in data to be the biggest accelerators of net worth. Do you know the day you become financially independent, it could have taken you 10 years to become financially independent because you have been converting your income into assets. Then when you become financially independent, let's say you now have a portfolio of $200,000, $10,000, you're now living a life of $3,000, $4,000 without lifting a finger. 1 year later, your portfolio is at $700,000. Why? Because when the psychological pressure of having to work to pay for your life is lifted, then your eyes open up. So financial illiteracy, my brother, it is insane. So for believers, somebody would say a man's gift will open up doors for him. But before you become financially independent, even your gift is not defined in its true form. Haven't you read that scripture that says that a wise man will save the city? A poor wise man will save the city. But what happens? He is set aside.
Forgotten.
They forget him. Why? Because if you don't platform your giftings with resources, you're not relevant. Are you seeing what I'm talking about, my brother? That's why financial independence, Becoming wealthy is such an important objective. Let me give you just one more paper. I'm on the number one reason of poverty.
You're on the number one. And
Financial
I'm
literacy.
curious about the other
I'll
two.
tell you number two and number three. You'll be so shocked.
Jeez, man,
Here's
this is
here's
powerful.
another paper. So these guys of Harvard, they looked at about 1,800 middle-aged Africans for about 12 years.
Yeah.
And the subject of inquisition was, does it matter to have financial objectives? That's what they were looking at. So they studied these guys over 12 years. They were checking for individuals who are like many of us. You are working, earning, but you don't have any clear wealth plan. Or those ones who are working, earning, and they have serious goals. Do you know what they found? They found that individuals who have at least 4 written down financial objectives outperform those who don't by 45%. Number two, listen to this part now. They also found that individuals who have at least 4 written down financial objectives have a 75% likelihood, listen to this now, of achieving not their financial objectives, but all their life's objectives. To fix your money is to fix your life. But it makes sense. It really makes sense because, my brother, do you know you're not a bad husband? You just have financial logistical challenges. You're not a bad son. You're a very romantic man, but the problem is the finances. So your marriage is bleeding, not because you're a wicked man. Your marriage is bleeding because you're not resourced enough to take care of this daughter of Africa, because for you, nobody told you that income is not wealth. So many people have had a lot of income, but when they reach 50, let me shock you, my brother, I hope you know, only 10% of Africans enter financial independence at the average age of 55. In Kenya here,
10%.
only less than 10% will become financially independent. That's why when I'm in public transport, I'm at the airport, and you see an old 60-year-old man in public transport, for me, the reason why we should stand for them, over and above respect because of African culture, they're already going through much, because what manner of failure have they gone through that they have to be in the household at 65? Are you seeing what I'm talking about? I hope you know the time is moving. Whether you make decisions or not, time is moving.
Not waiting on you.
It's not waiting for you. So in our community, I never teach anybody budgeting. Never, forever. But for many of my mentees, once they hear this presentation, many of them, they will live here, Lavington, Kileleshwa, all these uptown places, themselves. They will now go to downtown places to pay $100 salary, $100 rent, $500 rent, because they all of a sudden realized that I have the power to come out of jail. Financial illiteracy is a link. Let me give you an example.
Because my income is the capital.
Your income is the capital.
I just haven't been deploying
You
it.
have just not been deploying it. Let me ask you a question, my brother, today. What is your worst prison in South Africa?
The one in Pretoria.
What is it called?
Max.
Max. It's called Max.
Pretoria Max, yeah.
Pretoria Max, great. So let's assume that today is one of those cold August Wednesdays, and let's say June. June is colder. So you're in June, and it's a Wednesday afternoon, and you have just come from the High Court in Cape Town, and they have told you, we agree, you were prosecuted falsely. Truly, you're not the one who committed the murder. You are innocent. Aren't we all victims of the system anyway? You are innocent, my brother. So you have been in jail for 4 years. And now they come and tell you, we have looked at the data, it's true you're not yet the guilty one. But now, what's going to happen is, now you have to go back to Pretoria Max for another 4 years, because in you know Africa, in 2029, we will now start your trial again. But meanwhile, go back to remand. Isn't it like that? And you're innocent. Remember, in Africa, jail is for the poor.
Yeah.
Because if you have cash, you would never get there.
Pay your way out.
You will pay your way out. Okay, great. So now, on that Wednesday, you have been 4 years already in Pretoria Max. Now it's a Wednesday. You have driven all the way in that big prisoner's bus. You're back in your cell. And I know in Pretoria Max, especially if it is Max, like here we have committee. Usually what they do, once in a while, they anoint you in sewage, just to remind you where you are, so that you don't adapt.
That happens.
Yeah, it happens, my brother. Once they anoint in sewage, read the Raila Odinga's book, The African Enigma. He says it there when he was in prison. Once in a while, they put you in a room full of mites, naked, for 2-3 days. So that you don't, once in a while, you sleep in cold water. 3 days, so that you don't get adapted. You know, the human being is very resilient. Once in a while, they'll come and clobber you for no reason. Okay. So this day, my brother, you now come back. When you come back in jail, by some miraculous reason, Stan Agacho himself is with you in the cell. Then I tell you, my brother, you won't believe what has happened. Even I've told you, you ask me, hey Stan, what has happened? Then I tell you now, this afternoon, we are going to go to Mall of Africa. I remember I bought my Wolverines at the top floor. They are next to the Starbucks.
Yeah.
Mall of Africa. Today we are going to Mall of Africa. We are going to go to the Berlusconi specialty shop. They'll put for you Super 120 wool, Berlusconi shoes, even red leather soles. Fantastic. You will give you Egyptian cotton shirts. They'll give you a Berlusconi limited edition tag. No problem. But don't think that's important, because this one is just like a transition. Once you relax, you have showered, you have calmed down, we are going to London. You're going to start your new life there. Okay? Forget all these trials, etc.
I'm hearing all of this still in prison.
We are in the cell with you. I'm there with you now. We are in the cell now, okay?
Yeah.
Then I tell you, but there's only one condition. You'll ask me, but what condition is this? I said, no problem. I tell you, you know that Madiba statue? You tell me, but I know the Madiba statue. I say, So I'm going to bring, there will be CNN journalists there. All you need to do is to come out of prison, okay? And then when you come out of prison now, we go to the Madiba statue, you strip naked, you run round that Madiba statue 5 times. My brother, let me ask you, is there a dilemma there? There is no dilemma.
Yeah.
If you look at the cost-benefit analysis, here's the number 2 reason of
go
poverty.
run around.
Here's the number 2 reason of poverty in Africa. The number 2 reason, actually it's the number 3. I'll tell you number 2. The number 3 reason of poverty in Africa is peer pressure. You are so concerned about what people think that it determines your financial destiny. Many people live in houses they can't afford because of
Peer
what
pressure.
the community will say. Your children, they are in schools you can't afford. Why? Because of what people will say. Africa Development Bank, WHO, World Bank have now put a statistic that argues that 68% of Africans cannot pay for their life beyond the 15th. You see, so we can't afford this life, but the reason why you're paying because you have to maintain. I'm a lecturer, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a family man. You see these things I'm talking about, my brother? Okay, great.
What time is it now?
It doesn't even matter, because this is so important. We have to deliver this message to Africa now. But you will help us learn, no problem. So you find yourself at a place where you are willing to impress everybody else except your financial destiny. So I was talking about conversion. If you're earning $1,000 and you convert 70% of that into assets for 10 years, where will you be, my brother? Think about it. For 10 years, 70% of your income is going into assets. And remember the compounding force of assets.
Yeah.
At 18 to 20%, you are doubling your income, you are doubling your wealth every 3 years. Every 3 years, you are doubling your wealth. In 10 years' time, my brother, what are you talking about? In 10 years' time, you can be financial, you'll be flying like a bird. But because
Peer pressure.
you don't want, you will tell me, you know what many people will tell me? Let me go and think about it. That's how it behave. Because as long as you have to work to pay for your life, are you not in jail? You're in jail. But if I tell you now to do what it takes for you to become free, you will not agree. Because for you, it's interpreted as public nakedness around Madiba statue. But think about it. Does it matter? The only reason why you're embarrassed to take the decisions that you need to take to become financially independent is because you have not correctly done your cost-benefit analysis. In your mind, the cost of putting your financial destiny first outweighs the benefit of becoming financially independent. So that's the number.
I will not run naked in front of people.
Yeah.
I will not get embarrassed.
So you'd rather stay in Pretoria Max for another 4
stay in
years
that prison.
and take your chances than just running down. If somebody came and told me today, I'll be like, what are you talking about? You're talking about Madiba. No problem. I'll run around Madiba. I will go to the expressway. I saw this, you have this beautiful train.
How train?
I will even run the whole track naked. I can even invite my wife. Would you like my wife to come also? What are you talking about? Because financial independence is the number one objective of every African. If you're gonna be free, as far as wealth is concerned, then you need to increase your conversion power. So the third reason was peer pressure. Let me tell you the second reason. The second reason was emergency, death, and diseases.
Okay.
Yeah, so many Africans are just one emergency away from poverty, especially these people who call themselves middle class. So you have one medical emergency. In Africa, we are Ubuntu. So it can be your uncle, it can be your mom, it can be your wife, it can be your wife's sister, and all of a sudden you're liquidating all your assets. So in our community, many people in Africa say that insurance is a waste of time. And I agree with them until the day it happens to you. So any wealth that is being built without protection is an illusion. If you're not protecting your wealth, you're not building anything. I have a question for you. If I came and told you, my brother, we have connected, you have even come to my country and you even look more established than me myself, you are taking over Nairobi, you look so settled, no problem. Because you are so forceful and dominant, we are going to award your ambition. I'm going to give you the Queen's Range Rover. It even comes with a butler. They'll be saying, hey, sir, how are you, sir? Where should we go? They drive you. Tuscany white leather. Fantastic. Not AC, climate control. That's the car you're. But I must warn you that the brakes fail once in a while. Will you enter this car? You cannot because of the stakes. Once in a while is too much. That is how wealth is. So before you tell me where should I invest, you must first tell me how are you protecting your wealth. 68%, according to WHO, 68% of African families lose wealth during transition. Yeah, so many
transitions and family emergencies.
Transitions and family emergencies. So it's either a family emergency or a transition for you. Maybe, for example, if you die today, if you fell right now, and I'm sure a big motivation why we are doing all these things is for your family, really. But many men, the wife doesn't know the full profile of the wealth. They don't know. So
if the protection that's been set up,
they don't know. So you can fall down here. You can be having $10 million, but your wife and children get into poverty because you're not taking protection. So protection is 3 levels. You have protection as far as insurance is concerned, health insurance. You have protection as far as life is concerned, taking an insurance of your life. But the third one is power of attorney and will creation. What this hustle you are doing, who is it for? So there have to be lawyers who know if today you fell down here, who is the heir apparent? Without question. You see what I'm talking about? Now, do you know what that will do? That will give you the characteristics of a growth portfolio because you have removed psychological downtown of risks. So in your mind, because I've mitigated the risk of me dying suddenly, you make much more money. So I found a paper. Imagine, I found a paper, this was by Central Bank of Kenya, that individuals who have insurance and power of attorneys in place for their family outperform those who don't by 65%.
This is because of the psychological pressure.
You are psychologically superior. You know that I'm going to Israel right now, and I know Israel is a war-torn country, but I can go and transact that there in peace because I know me even dying is a blessing. Because there are structures, even if I don't want to reveal to my wife exactly what I own, there are structures in place that 24 hours after I transition, 24 hours later, my people are sorted. You see what I'm talking about? So before you talk about growth, you must talk about protection. Many Africans will say, let me make some money first, then I can start buying insurance. It's the other way around. Before you protect, okay, I don't know about South Africa, but here in Nairobi, if I want to build in Nairobi, even here in Westland, this is high-end Nairobi, yeah? Do you know what we build first? I will never come and put material first, never. I will come buy the piece of land. The next thing I will do is to now put a wall around. Because if I don't put that wall around, it doesn't matter what materials I pour. Those materials that I will pour, they'll be public property. People will steal them. Tomorrow morning I can come here with steel worth $2 million. Tomorrow morning, it will not be there. I promise you. It will not be there. So before you protect, don't waste your time building. So the top 3 reasons of poverty. So I went to study now. So the first reason was, what was it? Financial illiteracy. Just not knowing. You just don't know. Okay? And many people, that pain of not knowing is what has sabotaged their financial destiny. The second one,
peer pressure.
Yeah, the next one is death, emergency, and disease. Then the third is peer pressure. There's number 4, 5, and 6, and 7, which I'll tell you some other day. So in answering my wife, my wife asks me, what happened to all our money? So I decided to now go and investigate the source of my poverty. And I actually found those things were now playing out. The first one, nobody ever gave me a good definition of wealth. So for many Africans, you don't understand that wealth is not your income, wealth is not your status, wealth is not having a car. I remember in this nation, I was on national TV, I said that land is not an investment. We did 4 million views in that video. Now,
They came for you.
they came for me, but those people who came for me, I have more land than them. It's what you should listen to what I'm talking about. Why is it land an investment? There's no cash flow. You see, in Africa, our mindset is you should own assets. But if those assets are not cash flow producing, then you're not in wealth. You see what I'm talking about, my brother?
They're especially bad if you're starting.
Especially if you're starting. Actually, if you're below $100,000 net worth, you should never touch things like land. You should focus your efforts on growth portfolios. So those are financial assets that are giving you a minimum return of between 18 to 20% until you're 45. The reason is you have the time horizon to eat the risk. Even if you lost everything, you can still build from zero at 40. Did you know that by the way?
Yeah.
You can still build from zero at 45 and still be independent at 55. So because you have the risk, you can stomach the risk, you have the time horizon for it, you should be on growth assets so that you're constantly compounding. What gave me the most pain in finding the answer to my wife's question is that for most Africans, the answer to building wealth was given to us when we were in primary school, and I'll tell you right now. The only problem is nobody told us that that's how you build wealth. Yeah. Do you remember this thing called compound interest in primary school?
Yeah.
But you see, nobody ever told us that it's for building wealth. We were being taught compound interest to go and work for other people. Nobody ever told us that the whole wealth formula, it boils down to compound interest. That's everything. And in examining that, I said, okay, fine, what does this mean? I found something very strange, that there are only two things that are called capital. It's either money or death. You remember capital punishment? You know capital punishment, right? What is capital punishment? That's when the government has to kill you, right? There are only two things called that in the world. It's either you're dying or you're building. Yeah. So capital is your life. So your whole life. Imagine my brother, you and I, if today we were partners and we were brothers. And from high school, we have been, all those days you used to sell tires, dating for money, whatever it is that you're doing, going, teaching people, tutoring kids, being an election clerk. If all that money, 30 or 50% of it was being converted into assets, we'll be doing this meeting in London now. Do you agree?
Or somewhere flying.
We'll even be in a flight doing this meeting. Do you agree with me? And it's not with another big money that we have not touched, just with the money
that we've earned.
My brother, the day I saw that thing, it's two things. It's either you hang yourself or you quickly adjust. Because I'm like, wait a minute. I had all the money that I needed to be free. Because remember, wealth is at your level. So if you're at $500, your job is to build a portfolio that can pay you $500. If you're at $1,000, your job is to build a portfolio. And that portfolio can be built anywhere in the world. It doesn't have to be in your country. Anywhere. I have mentees in 24 countries. I'm currently running 12,400 African portfolios all over the world. And the point here is, it is wealth at your level. I demonstrated on YouTube recently that you can use $100 to cash flow $1,400 per month. You just need to know what you're investing in, and I demonstrated what you should invest in there. Now, that story...
I'll link that video to this one.
Absolutely. Please go and have a look. Now, do you know who cannot afford $100 per month? So you remove yourself immediately from the idea that for me to invest, I need millions of dollars. I need Chinese investors. I need somebody to come and help me. I need a big breakthrough. Wealth is behavior first, not income. So, in conclusion, those studies about the causes of poverty in Africa is what now became the African wealth formula, which is nuanced wealth building for Africa. So we looked at initially 1,600 variables, then it became 32 variables, then it became 12 variables. So these are the 12 most important pillars when it comes to building wealth. So income, savings power, liquidity, mindset, vision, return on investment. Are you seeing what I'm talking about right now? Networks, education, and sex. Yeah. So
That's on the list.
It's on the list because let me tell you, for instance, nuanced African wealth building. You must not build wealth like an American. You must build wealth like an African. So one of the biggest pandemics of Africa is many of us don't have fathers. I don't know if your father was available. Did you have a father?
He was there and he passed away.
He passed away.
In high
Okay.
school.
Okay, fine. So at least he was there a bit.
Yeah.
So for many of 79% of African men grew up without a father. Now, do you know, according to MIT did a study here in Nairobi. They actually found that individuals who grew up without a father have a 40% likelihood of dying in poverty because they are price insensitive to high interest personal debt. So many times we are taking debt not because we have anything productive to do with it, but because of the subconscious trauma that you went through when you were children. You want to tell me, my brother, you've never seen these people, and it's many Africans. In Nairobi, it's 90%.
Yeah.
90% of Nairobians will take a loan without a purpose, a defined purpose. So you take a loan because it's available. So a lot of the loans we take in my country, 76% of the loans that were taken in 2024 were for consumption spending.
That's there as well.
Imagine. So you're borrowing to spend. You're borrowing to consume. Think about it, bro. You're an educated man. If you want to know somebody will collapse financially, the day you start borrowing to consume, you know you're in the bush. And then the problem is you're not borrowing traditional debt. You're borrowing these loans of 10% per month to buy a holiday, to buy curtain, to buy a fridge, and you call it emergency. So you think it is bad financial decision. It's not. It is trauma. It's childhood trauma. So it matters. So we look at, are you a male?
Yeah.
Are you a female? Did you grow up with a father? Did you grow up without a father? And so on. So what's my story? The long story short is the following. That when it comes to building wealth, really, truly speaking, there are only two states. It's either you're wealth conscious or you're wealth unconscious. This is my own definition now. So you become wealth conscious the day three things happen. Number one, you believe that the only help you're waiting for is you. Number two, you believe that no income is too small to build. And number three, you believe that you can start building from where you are for your freedom. As long as those three things have not yet happened, you're wealth unconscious. It doesn't matter the level of income. I remember I have a mentee of mine in Tanzania, flies one of the top airlines there, earns $6,000. For 10 years, he's never had more than $2,000 in his bank account, never forever. It is now, after working with him for 2 quarters, now is the first time he has $2,400 times 3, about $7,200 now is in his account. He's like, for the first time, I have money in my life, yet I have always had this money. So the issue is not income. The issue is the mindset. The issue, Africa does not have an income problem. Africa has an allocation problem, conversion. How well do you convert your primary income into assets? That's the whole thing. Yeah.
This has landed.
I hope, I say so many things.
This has landed.
And I needed to speak so fast. But I hope I'm making sense, my brother.
This has landed. There definitely will be a part 2.
Absolutely, I'm available.
You are powerful, man. I wish you all the
sir.
best. You deserve an audience.